Hello everybody, welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. This is session 154. Let's go ahead and kick things off with a little bit of a recap, shall we? Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party found themselves inside the dorm room of Marta Moonshadow. They had freed the conjurer from a demonic blood curse, but the elf was still unconscious, recovering from her ordeal. While she recovered, Ezrah identified a timeline of progression involving the demonic influence that had started barely a year ago and escalated around the time the party helped free Marta from captivity on the third floor of the dungeon. Meanwhile, Bones had a conversation with the Red Wizard Nihilus Jowd, which ended with the Tabaxi placating the Necromancer in order to avoid growing tensions. Ashes spoke with Zalara, concerned about his waning powers, and the Tiefling resolved to speak to Ezrah about the issue. After some time, Marta awoke. The Moon Elf was terse, frustrated. She'd been freed, true, but she'd also just realized how much of her life she had lost to a demon. She'd lost the influence that had given her conviction. It was like waking up with all of her motivations ripped away. She was ultimately thankful, but in her present state, it was hard to act thankful. Eventually, knowing that she was now safe, the party took their leave. Upon returning to the dorm Descentia, the party met with Karstus, the necromancer they had allied with in the Slither Swamp. The mage was friendly. Compared to the tense interactions and battles the party had experienced so far in Dwemercor, Karstus was a breath of fresh air. His banter was an encouragement that the party had at least one enthusiastic ally here. As the party retired for the evening, Ashes approached Ezrah about the issues he had been facing recently. The sorcerer quested out and discovered a strange, malevolent spot of energy on the wear. He dispelled it, and there was a magical backlash, but he defended himself from it. Strangely, though, it didn't seem to fix things for Ashes. In the morning, the party resolved to head to the library. On their way, they had a brief interaction with Marambra Nightsteel, the statued evocation teacher and one of Halaster's 7. Marambra was pleasant, if a bit crazed, and although Matashtai encouraged at least a mock fight, the party opted to take the safe path and headed to the library instead. There, the group spent the better part of the day doing research, Ezrah picking up where he'd left off in his digging up the information surrounding the Osnarketa. He soon had notes detailing the intended uses for the artifact, some potentially world-changing rituals involving giants and world-spanning transmutation rituals. Eventually, Ezra's research led him to the many grievances and disagreements that the trio, Arcturia, Trobriand, and Izzat, had. Ezrah discovered Izzat's secret plan to complete the Osnarketa ahead of schedule and whisk it away. And the sorcerer also discovered that, ultimately, all of these powerful archmages were, for lack of a better word, trolled by Halaster Blackcloak, who, on the eve of the project's secret completion, stole the artifact, split it into multiple pieces, and scattered it about, ruining months, if not potentially years, of work. Ezra read of the mad hunt that took place after that, the last combined effort of the 3 archmages, and importantly, of the discovery of one piece of the artifact by Arcturia, who took it for safekeeping to her realm, Arcturia Doom. And that's where we join back with our party. So, I will pop you all onto the map. It has been a approximately 8 hours, right? You guys got here early in the morning. So it has been the majority of the day for Ezrah to complete his research. Okay? Meaning that if any of the rest of the party would like to have spent some time researching anything or looking anything up, you would have had apt opportunity. So, before we kind of like, catch up to where the timeline currently is there any such research that you guys would have wanted to do? Take it away.
I'll go first. Sure. I'm going to try and research if there's been any other people who have used paints or such to create magical talismans or things of the like to try and find methods to improve upon my own designs.
Fantastic. You can roll me either a history check or an investigation check.
Okay. Super bad at both, so this is going to go great.
I think this makes sense. I do not see Matashtai as a library boy.
I'm investigating.
He investigating.
Nailed it.
Zach, I have the can't scroll all the way down thing. Didn't you have that last time, or was that Mitch that had it last time?
Lower your little box where you type into. Just make it smaller.
Yatta! Thank you. I don't know why it was larger all of a sudden.
Yeah, same. I never changed mine, but it was apparently bigger.
Thanks!
I think it has to do with, because I just had it too, I think it has to do with moving between monitors.
Maybe. That is a 3, Matashtai.
Sure is.
You spend a couple hours, and I feel free to what's the word I'm looking for here? Feel free to correct me if you feel like I'm taking this in a meh direction, right, for Matashtai. But I feel like Matashtai is idle for a little while and then is like, oh, I should do this thing, right? But is kind of half-hearted about it, right? Like this scenario of like kind of dipping his toes in, but then not really fully committing, dipping his toes in, not really fully committing, like, hey, Archivist, can you bring me any books on, like, this thing? Right? And then, like, leafing through half of a book and being like, I didn't find anything. Right? Like, that type of situation. You do actually find some, striking piece of information, Matashtai. Throughout a little bit of your, time researching this, I say you find two things, right? The first one is that you find just mention of magical items called marvelous pigments, right? So you just basically find confirmation that this stuff does exist outside of what you're doing. And then the other thing that you do find, right? You are eventually brought a tome that mentions this powerful being who could bring to life almost the very stuff of creation. And her name was Ezrah. So there's information, but Matashtai just doesn't really find what he's looking for. Whether that's a failure on his part or a failure on this library's part, who can say?
Look, Matt's not good at books. It's not how he learns.
I think he gets distracted, perhaps.
Right.
Who knows? Anyways, so Matt spends a little bit of time working on that. Bones or ashes, is there anything either of you were interested in looking up? Also, Matashtai, you could look up other things if you wanted to. That's not going to take like 8 hours necessarily, but it's up to you.
I think it's pretty apropos that like I just get distracted and kind of fuck around with that. Maybe
go shadow box in the corner for 45 minutes.
I hang out with Wolf and we shoot shit. And...
All right, Wolf's out. Wolf's just fucking hanging out in the library. I forgot about that.
He and I brainstorm sweet combat maneuvers together.
Yeah?
Really?
Okay.
Does that happen?
That happens.
Roll me a D100.
Okay. Deep 100. 70.
Look at that. The 0 actually means a 0 and not a 9
Look at that.
or 10. Whatever.
Sweet. Okay. Bones or ashes? Anything that either of you are interested in researching?
Yes.
That was anticlimactic.
I wish to look up a being. I mean,
One bean.
I would like one
I
bean,
guess I
please.
guess I don't know if it's a being or if it could be a place or just I want to look up any information on Umbraxar.
History or
and, like-
investigation check?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What is your grim psychometry?
Oh, grim psychometry is this.
It means you
I
have
have
to
a
go to
supernatural
school.
talent for discerning the history surrounding mysterious objects or places touched by evil and making an intelligence history check to recall information about the darker past surrounding an object you are touching or a location you are present in. I have advantage on the roll.
Never mind. You
Suck it, nerd.
you are not touching an object, nor are you in the location. So, a history or investigation check.
Let's do the one I might be better. Investigation. Normal. Critical failure.
It's a 10.
Oh yeah, we off to a great start tonight, boys.
You guys are just getting the low rolls out real quick tonight. That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's gonna be all crits from here. It's all good. Yeah. You do not get any initial results from the archivist. So like this almost kind of like robotic, ghostly voice is like, would you like to expand your search to Brux's, or like just starts throwing out other like close names that have like the components of Umbraxar in there, right? So like
I just pronounced it very shittily.
It's yeah. I think ultimately what happens probably is the archivist tries to assist you as best it can. And it tries to bring you, it does like a Google search result, right? Where it's like it tries to bring you anything related that it thinks it can find. The problem is it's like you completely misspelled the word in your search. So all of the shit that it's bringing you is just like the wrong stuff. And it doesn't know any better, right? So you're wasting time just like reading through and just be like, it doesn't say Umbraxar anywhere in here. What is this? Right? Yeah. Again, doesn't take the entirety of your time, but you do lose quite a bit of time to the fact that you just can't find anything related to that name. Would you like to do anything else?
If that didn't take all 8 hours, I would like to see if there is a book or tome that would highlight, cover, or somehow shed any kind of light on restraining a soul to the plane it's currently on.
I know what you're fucking talking about. Roll me a history or investigation check.
Ooh, we gotta make like what's the fucking thing that captures the ghosts when the Ghostbusters like weaken
Soul
them?
jar.
I mean, what you guys basically did in the Slither Swamp?
Yeah.
I mean, we got some soul jars. We can just dump one of them out.
Yeah, dump one of them out.
And
Please
like,
do.
and
I
to be
would
fair,
appreciate that.
Bones is an expert on this type of magic because he captures the souls of things as they die.
That's true.
That's
He
right, I
already
knew
does
that.
that.
That's me.
22 investigation ashes. Absolutely more results on this one. Almost too many results. This one's a little bit of like the opposite kind of problem, right? The archivist brings you like tome after tome, dissertations, pamphlets, religious like context, etc., of all of these different types of ideas or studies or concepts or experiments or proto-rituals, right, surrounding the idea of tethering the souls of cosmic beings to the material plane, right? Most of it is, unfortunately, theoretical, right?
Right.
At least as far as you can kind of, like, tell, you can kind of suss out, right? With a 22, though, let me put my dancing shoes on real quick. You find, or you are eventually brought a tome entitled A Study on Divining the Souls of Cosmic Beings. And upon the cover of the relatively, simple, plain book is the author's name. One Jasira Kestelharp.
I've probably butchered that name real bad.
Okay. As you are flipping through it, the majority of it is interesting but not applicable to what you are curious about. But towards the back of the tome, some of the discussion moves away from just divining the souls, which you, through your brief time reading, come to realize tends to mean along the lines of spying upon cosmic beings or influencing cosmic beings with like strange feats of like luck or chance or misfortune or things like that, right?
Misfortune.
It eventually briefly discusses the concept of doing more from a divination standpoint, including a concept that discusses the hypothetical requirements for tethering a target's soul. The way in which this author discusses this concept, she's writing about. She's writing secondhand about witnessing another person's magical rituals. And you're reading through, and she kind of repeatedly just mentions this person, right? Kind of like in passing, or as this vague kind of concept, until you get to a paragraph where she straight up says, starting sentence, right? And that's why, while studying under Halaster Blackcloak, I believe that the Mad Mage himself has ultimately designed the way in which any creature can be bound with the right parameters.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Knowledge obtained.
So, knowledge that what you seek potentially is out there, and potentially even who might have such knowledge. But that knowledge is not in this book at your fingertips.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. Bones, would you like to research or study anything?
I would, and I have a very specific reason for this.
I'm ready. I love it.
Okay. I have two things that I would like to look up. First, I would like to learn about the divine art of the distraction.
In general,
Yes, I want to know how to make a very effective distraction.
magical or non-magical?
Little a, little b.
I will
Yes.
I will say the vagueness or the generality will increase your DC.
That's why I say it's the divine art of the distraction. Every distraction definitely has parts that make it effective. What are those parts?
Okay, fair enough. All right, roll me.
And secondarily,
Oh.
subtitle A. Best ways to distract hags.
Okay, two different situations here.
I know
For
that's why it's a subtask.
for distraction, roll me.
Warm
an-
Riddle shows up. You
Roll-
Googling me?
Roll me an investigation or a history for your search on how to become a master distractor.
History! I rolled a 15.
15. This is kind of like Ash's second inquiry, right? Like, what you're searching for, there are thousands of books, hundreds of thousands of documents or pamphlets or things like. Every thief and every bard in existence is like, here's how I'm the best, and you should do it my way, right?
No, but I really want
every
the best one.
illusionist mage is like, fuck all those fuckers. They don't know shit. We're the best. We do it right, right?
Okay, well, obviously I can't cast illusions, and the person I'm with disrespects illusions.
Look,
so...
I told you that if you didn't narrow it down, it was going to increase the DC.
Okay,
You
I
roll,
understand.
deal with the information. So,
Yeah.
your issue now is just the bevy of information with which you can kind of like run forward, right? So with the 15, because this is both kind of like the check of what you're able to find, but also how you're able to kind of like digest it, right? There is ultimately, right, you're gonna find there is no magic bullet for distraction. Every situation is different. Every distraction needs a different, parameters, needs different props, needs different situations, right? Etc., etc. But you do kind of like get good ideas, you get good concepts. Are you looking for specifically good ideas or good concepts to be fed to you? Or would you like to tie that into your role for the hag specifics?
I would like to tie it together.
Okay. I will say, because of your prior work, roll me an advantage history or advantage investigation on your specifically targeting, narrowing it down to how best to distract hags.
21.
21. Okay. Significantly less information to comb through here, right? There's not nearly as many books about the art of distraction when involving a hag. In point of fact, most of the time, hags are mentioned in what you're rifling through, it's to stay the fuck away from them. Bad juju, or it's, parables about what happened to people who didn't stay away from them, right? But you do find a couple of nuggets of wisdom. And they tend to parrot the same type of concept, and that is this. While it doesn't work for every single hag, typically hags who are extremely strange creatures follow a very particular set of rules that for most mortal do not make sense in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Part of the problem with these rules is that they are all over the place. They're wacky and sometimes inane and just nonsensical a fair amount of the time. But kind of woven into these rules are various strengths and weaknesses, and particularly for most hags, a fear. A deep, abiding fear that causes said particular hag to be incredibly terrified of something, right? And it's different for every single hag, right? Sometimes covens will share a particular fear, right? Sometimes they won't. But, and sometimes there are hags that just don't have anything, right? But most hags you find through your studies have some particularly wacky fear that when they have to deal with it makes them, obviously, right, easily distractible because they are far more focused on the thing that they are afraid of.
I see. Very good.
I feel like we safely know what that is for War
We safely do know what that is.
Okay. A day was had. Many books were read. Some people got useful information. Some people snored in a corner.
Discovered they had ADHD.
So yeah, some people discovered they had ADHD. Right? That's still useful information. That's okay, right? So ultimately, right? Like, and you guys are able to filter back and forth for like lunches or to go use the freaking restroom, etc., etc. You do see on the occasion like a student kind of like pass through. Most of the students that you see are relatively collected or composed, though even the most composed of them tend to still be kind of like a little shell-shocked, kind of, right? Like, you saw Spite very early on this morning taking his test with Marambra, the evocation teacher.
Being bent over backwards, got it.
And you actually saw him walk away as if he surrendered very quickly, and he walked away as if he didn't get touched at all. It was a ploy, it was a fake, right? You guys had kind of like noticed that. But as you see him later on in the day, he does look like he looks a little drained. He looks a little winded, right? And that seems to be the trend with most of the students. Whatever these monthly tests are, it does seem to be relatively draining to have to do them in successive order throughout the day repeatedly. So, look forward to it, Ezra.
Such is life.
Anyways, about 8 hours go by, so we're gonna say this is, mid-afternoon. At this point, probably 3 to somewhere in the realm of 3 to 5, right? Depending on when exactly you guys woke up. What's up?
Quick question: when I learned about the monthlies, is it always the same day of every month?
It is typically the 30th of every month. It is supposed to be the last day of the month that the monthlies fall on. You found out specifically this month,
The monkeys in
and
February.
obviously, like,
Shut
I
up.
was born in February.
they don't have February in Faerun. Um, and this is something that does obviously happen because there are other holidays that are much like this, but because of midwinter, right? The monthlies have been pushed forward 2 days to give time for recuperation and preparation for the holiday of midwinter, right? So that's why they're on the 28th or 27th. I can't remember which day we're on. 27th. They are on the 27th right now. So yeah. Anything
Okay.
else?
Nope.
Swank.
I mean, like, so here's the thing. Like, I don't know how to like gauge this as far as like a game mechanic. Like, there was a piece of information I wanted. I had an attempt to try to attain it, and I failed the roll, and so therefore I'd assume that I don't get that thing, right? And I think it's in bad faith to be like, well, I just try it again, and I just try it again, and I keep doing it till I get the thing I want, right?
Well, so trying it again would mean staying around Dwemercore and coming back to the library tomorrow, right? Like that type of scenario, right? Which you guys are free to use the library in Dwemercore currently, repeatedly, right? But each attempt that you do is basically gonna. That's why I was like, oh, this doesn't take the full 8 hours, but after you do multiple things, yeah, that took about 8 hours, right?
Okay.
So it's that situation of like, if there's nothing else you guys want to do, could you stick around? Yeah, sure. You roll again, you fail again, you waste another 4 hours type situation.
All right. Well, so now that we're done in here, I have 2 things that I would like to accomplish before we have secret discussions in Ezra's room.
Is that the plan? Is to have secret discussions in Ezra's room?
Well, just before bed at some
Always.
point, I want to have secret discussions.
Okay, so not immediately right now. You're just saying.
No, we don't have to do it. I mean, if you guys want to have secret discussions, it can be like kind of on the way.
Okay.
Did we get the impression that there was an end time for when the exams were over?
As you guys are kind of finishing up, the people that you've seen throughout the day, you've seen more and more of them towards this time period, right? It feels like people are finishing up with their dailies or their monthlies. Yeah. So, basically, this is designed so that you guys can start moving as a group and interacting and doing things around Dormercore as you want together, rather than having to feel compelled to do them separately. At this point, you should be good to go and interact with whoever you want to interact with.
What are your 2 things, Bones?
All right, there are 2 rooms that I'm real curious about. One is the room that Halaster came out of. How he come out of that room? I want to know what's in there. And 2, I want to know what's in that room next to the Naga statue. And then I would like to, and this is, I'm not saying this in game, but as a group, I would like to discuss the plan to free the tieflings. That's
Okay.
the secret discussion I want to have. But in game, until we're in Ezra's room, I'm only willing to say secret discussion.
Gotcha.
Sounds good.
Unless it's psychically. I'm willing to discuss it psychically. Psychically.
Cycly.
Cyclically.
Is there a bicycle room where we can be cycling and
Not that you've seen so far. And actually, aside from if you count evocation as exercise, there's an extreme lack of an exercise room in Dwemercore. It's really
I
sad.
wonder why? Yeah, wizards are the fittest of.
Look, muscle wizards are important.
Well, I also kinda like
Maybe
to
we
know
reverse
what's
that.
in-
Wizard muscles are important.
I would also kind of like to know what's in these little tunnels that look like fucking Umber Hulks. Not Umber Hulks. What's the big bug things we've been fighting? Is that an Umber Hulk?
Yeah,
Yes.
Umber
Yeah,
Hulk.
they look
Hulk.
like Umber Hulks have been digging. I want to know what's up in there too.
Didn't we walk down those?
Not
I
those.
didn't. Not
Did
all the
not.
way.
Might be thinking of different ones.
I mean, the only
anyway,
thing I know is on the list is to check in with Marta if we need to exfiltrate her.
X-file trait.
Make sure she's good with her situation now that she's riding solo.
Okay.
Any other ideas or things that people are wanting to do?
No, I'm good.
I don't think I have anything.
I am fine with those items.
Hey, you guys got ideas? What do you want to do first?
All right, we're pretty close to the tunnel thingies. You guys want to go to the tunnel thingies?
Lead the way.
Sure. Let's go.
Alright, we'll go to
Let's
the
go
tunnel
ahead
thing.
into places we probably shouldn't go.
Tunnel thingies by way of kitchen.
All right. Tunnel thingies by way of kitchens. If you guys want, I can just teleport you there, so you don't
I
have
would prefer
to.
Why
to
don't you
just
just
move
teleport?
While-
Yes.
while-
stuck in the wall 17 times.
So that you
While
guys
we're in-
don't have to like lose each other in the hallways. Oh, I lost an Ezra.
Please don't forget Wolf. He
I'm
would
not
like to
gonna
belong
I'm
as
not gonna
well.
forget anyone. I'm just gonna stop moving, Ezra. Quit it. Quit that.
He's moving one pace,
That
one
was
square at a
little-
time.
a little half elf pacing through my stuff. And teleport. And delete.
Oh, I tried to run away.
Get out of here. Unacceptable. All right, so you guys head through the dining hall, through the kitchens, through the pantry, making your way towards that section that you had seen before, near the supply room, right? So where the walls had kind of like collapsed and been carved, tunneled into. Yeah. I think you're good. Go ahead. What do you want to do?
I want to check out the tunnels. Come on,
Okay.
bossy.
Sounds like a plan.
You guys want to check out the tunnels with me?
I'm
Burns.
with you.
I'm
Roll
trying to
me
find
a
this.
perception.
Burns. Perceiving.
Perceivance.
I will assist. No, that's a good enough roll.
22.
He don't need my help.
Me and Wolf are.
I mean, you
moving
can
up.
roll your own perception if you want. Might beat it.
I'm sure.
You got advantage because you have shield, boy.
Oh yeah, I've got the shield, and I hardly ever use it. Here we go. Shield advantage.
Shield advantage.
I didn't beat it.
11. Very good.
Okay, so Bones is just the first one, right? Like Bones is excited about the prospect of exploring and finding something, right? So Bones is just the first one that's kind of like up to the tunnel and kind of like actually poking around. You see a couple of different things here that are interesting to you because of a few different factors. The first one being your dwarven heritage question
That's
mark.
right. I'm a dwarf. Yeah.
You can see that there are claw marks on the walls here, right? But there's not enough to have actually kind of like tunneled into this space. It doesn't seem like. This looks like a structural collapse that was then dug through by creatures. Okay? So, kind of like extrapolating from there, you do see that some of the markations on the walls here, on the tunnels, do look similar to what you have seen with the Umber Hulks before. But you also see other strange things. You see kind of like whirl patterns on the walls. Or through other kind of like rocks or things like that, where you see like a half moon where something has kind of like bored through a rock. And you also see various situations where you'll see kind of like big claw like footprints, kind of like pressed into stone, as if like whatever stepped upon the stone kind of like melted into it, right?
Okay.
These different things seem disparate to you, right? Like you don't find them all clumped together as if like they're indicative of one creature. They all seem like differing creatures, right? Like an Umber Hulk perhaps came through here, and then a couple of other things came through here, each leaving their different mark, right?
Neat.
As you step into the tunnel,
As I step into the tunnel.
you hear
Something that sounds like PX breathing?
sure, yeah. You hear this slight breathing sound coming from further down the tunnel out of eyeshot. And it's incredibly faint.
Damn. There's something in there.
Hold on. Let me get down there. See if I can listen a little bit better, or maybe see if I can't get a whiff.
Okay.
Let's see if I can't. If it smells like something we've encountered before.
Get a whiff.
Oh, yeah.
Get a whiff.
Smell on it.
Oh yeah. Smell
Smell
up
on
on it.
Smell on it. Ooh, smell on it.
Investigation
Hey, put your nose right on its face and smell on it like PX does me.
17.
He did that today. He said,
17. There
in fact, let me
is
send you some photos of what he's done to me today.
Dude, there is a slight odor that is outside of the norm that that seems a little familiar, right? You think back, and
Smelled that
it's
before.
hard to place. You've encountered so many different things on your journeys with Undermountain, and I mean, in so many varied locations. Your 17 is not enough to spark a full memory, but you remember smelling it alongside the scent of trees of a forest.
Okay, well, we only fought like 3 things in the forest.
Yeah.
So, is it spiders?
Basilisk.
Is it basilisk? Or is it... What's the fucking fly thing? Cloakers? Cloakers. Is it a cloaker?
Oh God. It might. I look up. Is anything on the ceiling?
Not that you can tell.
Really? Is that the only 3 things we fought in the Willowwood?
I think we fought a will-o-wisp. But I don't... Do those smell? I don't know.
They also don't breathe.
Oh,
I mean-
well, there you go. They don't breathe.
Technically,
I'm just
Not
imagining
in
like
the.
an out of shape wisp just like wheezing.
oh, it's an Odie wisp. It's an Odie wisp.
Alright, whatever. From Ashes is sniffing. I go on high alert.
Okay.
Become the night.
Initiate high alert.
And I look up a lot. I
A
say,
lot.
Mossy, you look down, I'll look up.
Aussie glides into the ground, and he's just got like his mouth above ground with like a single eye, like half underground, half above ground.
That's how we're gonna break up these duties. Alright, let me go in.
I would like a stealth roll from everyone who is entering the tunnel.
That up.
I have advantage because of boots.
Okay.
I have normal because of not boots.
Where is Mossy? Mossy's sheet closed itself.
Ooh, I'm nearly the
Guys?
knight.
Also for Wolf, if Wolf is coming with you.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Wolf's gonna come with
Okay,
too. He's gonna
not
fuck up this roll.
great.
Ooh, he's pretty stealthy. Oh, yeah. Get it, Wolf.
Okay.
Get it. Get it. Get it.
You all, for the
Boom.
most part, are relatively stealthy. Some of you more so than others. Even Mossy is relatively quiet. The unfortunate side effect of Mossy is Mossy has a tendency, as he's going through terrain like this, to dip
Take some
down just a tad as he's going underneath like rubble and letting things fall into his mouth. And it creates this little like occasional like tink 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 tink.
That's pretty funny.
Right? Like it's
that's
relatively
not very
quiet
effective.
because most of that is actually underneath the ground. So it's not that loud, but it is something that something could probably pick up on if it had an option.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's life with a Zorn.
Yeah, that's life with the Zorn. Okay, so
We're going in.
people who are progressing stealthily can move forward. Anyone else has to stay put unless they want to roll a stealth check.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I do not think I'm gonna do better than 11. I don't want to make this go any worse.
Mossy and Bones begin to proceed forward. Matashtai and Wolf on their heels. You see the tunnel begins to curve around to the southeast, and as it does, let's take a look at our handy dandy master document real quick.
Master document.
Master document.
Master document.
Hold
What we
on.
got in here?
Did you guys view PX in the situation he got himself into?
I cannot. I will
Okay.
have to wait until our break. The layout reason.
He's very coot.
Is he very cute? Aww.
I reviewed his cuteness.
How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to Arthur?
Ooh, you can't have me compare to my own dog. It's pretty biased.
Oof.
No, baby PX is at least as cute as adult Arthur. Maybe not as cute as baby Arthur.
Arthur wins in every aspect.
See, the problem
about
there is
that.
I am biased. I am biased, so I cannot objectively vote PX higher.
I
Also
don't know.
biased.
Baby animals are always cuter than adult animals.
Baby animals do tend to always be cuter than adult
See,
animals.
and I don't always agree because I like adult animals who have all this character and they've acquired their own little quirks and things that they do that's weird.
Yeah,
And for the most
I
part, they
enjoy
aren't
those when
shitheads.
I know what the character and quirks are. And I don't. So in that case, I generally prefer the baby animals. Okay. Bones.
Hello.
Matashtai. As
Yeah.
you guys are rounding this corner, you see this rough-hewn, kind of partially collapsed tunnel continues eastward. And you see, laying up against the side of this tunnel are a couple of pickaxes, actually, and some buckets half filled with rubble. You also see what appears to be like the lower half of a skeleton about 3 feet away from those pickaxes. And
That's pretty funny.
it's bleached. It's picked clean. There's no like clothing, there's no flesh, there's no cartilage. It's just skeleton. And pretty badly trounced skeleton as well. Like the bones are cracked and some of them are broken. It's seen better days, and the entire upper half of it's missing. So
Neat.
Bodes poorly for our boys.
Bones,
Well, there's definitely a hunter here.
you continue to hear that kind of like breathing, slow, very muffled, very quiet breathing. And I think actually, Matashtai, your passive perception is 17, right? Or is it 18 now?
I think it's 18 now. Let me double check.
at this distance, you can hear the
19.
incredibly shallow breathing yourself as well.
All right. I got this. How far away is the skeleton?
It is. I'll put it on the map for you. It is right there.
All right. I get out a water skin.
The old reliable deployment zone.
Old reliable.
I press myself against a wall
Okay.
to be snaky. I'll look around. And then I throw the water skin.
The water skin
And then I press myself against the wall again.
makes a racket, jostles around. That breathing sound you heard, both of you,
Mm-hmm.
stops.
Jerry, quick question. Like, can I hear that shit from this neighboring hole? Could I hear that breathing?
You can't hear the breathing now. Your perception check was too low.
Okay.
But you do hear the flippity floppity flop 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 flop
So
familiar
I heard-
sound of
I think I
a
would be
water
familiar
skin.
with a ragdolling water skin at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you hear that tried and true tactic, but you don't hear the normal accompanied like scream or roar or cry that normally comes after it, right? Like there's just silence. And for you two, there's very specifically that breathing stops.
Okay. I look back at Ezra. I go. That's what I do.
What?
I think that's probably your.
I'll
actual-
stare at you like you're a
That's-
crazy person.
Yes, that is both Jake and Ezra's reaction to whatever the fuck you just did. Something about praying to your dog god or some shit
No,
like
there's
that.
something in there. Whatever. I go forward.
Okay. Ezra, you get some obscure sign language, and yeah, it is what it is.
Oh wait! If whatever that thing is aware we're here, I'm not gonna hang back anymore. I think at this point, like I'd like to push up.
Okay.
All right. So I'm just gonna come on, and like, I guess I'm not really trying to be quiet. I'm just like,
Damn, what if it's a vampire student?
That eat the flesh? Don't they just drink blood?
I don't know. Maybe it was a natural thing. It, defleshed. Doesn't wormroll make flesh roll over
but if
skin?
that's
What?
let's just back up here for a second. If that was the case, what makes it a vampire as opposed to literally anything else that could have killed this thing and left the body there?
I just thought it'd be neat.
Matt, do you have your lantern lit by any chance?
I've kind of been leaving it on, but I
No.
think we turned it off in Marta's room. So
It's
no, I
also
don't.
like you went to sleep, right? Like you slept for
Yeah,
for a night.
that's fair.
You know.
Yeah, you want me to light it up?
I mean, I'm just asking.
Light them up. I light
Alright,
it.
so we're done with stealth then.
He's on
Yeah.
fire.
Well, I mean, the thing stopped breathing.
Yeah,
it
you're right.
knows.
It knows we're here. Well, it knows a water skin's here. Just saying. That's it. That's all I know currently.
Fair.
That's okay. That's okay though. I don't mind. Do whatever.
If it is unaware that water skins cannot get up and walk there themselves,
We don't know how aware it is.
that's what I'm saying. Like, might be fine.
The violet light
I
of the
feel
lantern
fine.
filters out throughout a 60-foot radius, although only the bright 30-foot radius reveals invisible things. And currently it reveals nothing.
No thing.
No things.
I look at everybody else and say nothing.
All right. Well, I know something's here.
All right.
Ashes, go bang your shield up in there.
No, if we're doing this, I'm.
Okay.
She saw it.
I think that was him wolfing out. Or
Ashes
It sounded more
transforms.
like him charging up, but
it sounded like he was trying to take a shit.
I was going Super Saiyan, guys.
Fair enough.
this is you going monkey form, not Super
So
Saiyan.
all right. So that's just cool. So I pull out Zolara, get the shield, and I go up just past the water skin.
That smell is still here. You're closer now. Roll me another perception check.
18. Where have I smelled that before? What is that?
It's Borden.
Damn,
Yeah.
we find dog dead right here, right now? Hell
This close makes a world of difference, right? Especially with you out in front of your companions, not behind them, and not having to deal with the mixture of their senses between you and the creature that you're trying to sniff out. You've had a few moments to think about it, right? You're staring into what looks to be like the dead end of a tunnel. You don't see any webs.
Okay.
You don't see any big reptiles. In fact, you don't see anything.
Damn, the absence of thing?
Which leads you towards the one remaining thing that you couldn't see the first time.
Guys, I can't see anything. I can't see anything.
Demon?
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
It's gotta be cloakers, right?
I can't see it, guys.
Okay, we'll go up there and get hunted.
Oh, fine. And I just grip the pommel real tightly on Zolara and right up. Let's see. I deal 5 points of damage to myself.
No. I'm talking to Google, not y'all. Sorry.
No,
Google.
no.
No.
And let's do. I haven't done ice in a while. Ice.
Okay.
Or cold. Sorry.
Fantabulous.
Okay.
Ice crackles along
like
the edge of
Little
Zolara.
Mist Zolara. How's
Very
that feel? Is that brisk?
Ooh, chills.
They're multiplying.
And like I'm doing like the Sparta thing, like shield up, sword, kind of like off the.
Okay. Ashes marches forward. What's everyone else doing?
I walk up onto the ceiling.
Okay. Walking up on the ceiling.
I hold an action to attack whatever attacks Ashes. And I say, Mossy, watch my back.
You hear just this little grrr, grrr of affirmation.
All right.
Ezra?
Yeah, if I see anything swooping down on Ashes, I'll go ahead and give it a gentle skeletal touch.
Okay.
I'll give like a just a quick like thrust in front of me.
Nothing.
Yeah, bitch.
5 feet.
Okay.
One more thrust.
Open air.
right here.
Something a little uneven under your feet. You look down and you see it's just a slight deviation in the floor.
And how is that smell
still
of
here.
creature?
Yeah.
I kind of look back
Creeping
almost
forward,
like
I'm
I'm
on the
second
roof-
guessing
on the
myself.
ceiling,
Okay.
creeping forward as well.
Where put me where or put you where you think you are.
Okay, I'm gonna be by here.
Okay.
Now, I think.
At this point, Matashtai's light is kind of like fully encompassing the back of this chamber. There's nothing invisible here, unless some creature has an invisibility capable of remaining invisible in this light.
Superior invisibility.
Step up, and now I'm like still taking swings, but they're a lot less like
Sure.
more casual.
Open air.
I need to get my nose checked, guys.
I step forward a bit more. I got my spear out. I'm kind of poking the ceiling as I go.
Okay. So far, tap tap, tap tap, tap tap.
Hello?
I think you lost your mind.
Well,
Is someone in here? Hello?
That's what they all jump on Ezra.
oh, dark mantles just over everyone.
Oh, not dark mantles.
They specifically respond to the voices of wizards.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
right.
Good thing I'm not a wizard.
Yeah, you're safe, right? That's why they're
hunters.
not responding. Nothing so far.
Okay. Well,
Wow. I think I might have.
go left through this tiny hallway.
Oh yeah, I was actually looking down that when I heard the sack.
Someone would like to go investigate it by all means.
Okay. I'm gonna
I
Something's
assume
going
Ashes. I
on
see you just
here.
kind of like moving around occasionally. I
Yeah,
assume you're just
I'm-
swipe.
Still.
maybe poke all the walls.
Matashtai, you kind of like begin to squeeze down this tunnel, right? That leads back northward. You can see it kind of branches towards the east as well. It's not floor to ceiling, right? It's very kind of like touch and go. It's riven through with cracks. There's big chunks that have kind of like fallen through in places. So it is a bit of a tight squeeze. You have a bit of an advantage in maneuvering through it because you can just climb up and over everything, or climb up onto the ceiling, or climb down below it, whatever you need to do. So far, though, there doesn't appear to be anything hiding within this tunnel. Ezra bravely stepping forward.
I assume Zach is just not paying attention to his character, so.
I'm holding an action to attack whatever swoops down. Get
He's
outta
waiting.
here.
He's waiting for one of those two to fucking do something instead.
We're
No,
trying.
not do something, but to cause something, right?
I'm lying in wait.
So did Matt check like the ceiling above me? Is that like?
Matashtai made it partially into this kind of like end room, and then got distracted by this tunnel that he's now exploring.
Swinging. How tall is the ceiling?
It's a little ways up. It's about 15 or
Right.
20 feet up.
All right, I'm not gonna waste.
It's not an
All right.
easy poke range for you.
All right. All right, I just run out of things to do. I pull out the hand crossbow or the light crossbow and fire it directly overhead.
You pull out the hand crossbow, raise it up into the sky, and before your finger pulls, you hear this, "Stop! Don't!"
Oh,
What?
all right. Who's there?
I mean you no harm.
Okay, we mean no harm either. We're just checking the place out.
Great. You've checked. Don't hurt me.
I lower the crossbow. All right. If you're cool, we're cool. And I start like stepping back, and I'll like catch Matt and kind of like gesture that
Where?
it's in here.
Do we all hear this voice?
Oh yeah, everyone hears the voice. Yeah, absolutely.
It's coming, or
It's coming.
I come back and I say, you want to show yourself?
Do I need to?
I mean, I guess not, but for curiosity's sake, we'd love to meet you.
We're adventurers. We like to socialize.
The voice is hesitant. You won't go away if I don't, will you?
nope.
Probably not.
You see the ceiling peel itself away from the ceiling,
Oh, really?
and you just see this circular, red-eyed face. The face of a cloaker. Looking at you.
Okay.
We're
You're a talking cloaker.
I am Cloaker.
Damn, that's cool.
That's pretty cool. All right.
all right. Honestly, not the weirdest thing we've run across just in this floor alone. So
Yeah, honestly.
You're saying is you're a foaming werewolf.
I'm
With
not
tiefling
foaming. I'm not
Foaming.
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 Get out of here.
Wow.
He
Foaming.
said yes, foaming. He said you foamer.
Oh,
Foaming, that's-
shit. That's
I
fucking
got
rude.
rabies or something. Whatever.
Fucking
Wait, you
called
don't?
you a foamer. Holy shit. The creature just like reveals its face. You know, right, like you identify it as a cloaker. It confirms I am Cloaker. And that's it. It kind of like it seals back up, but it doesn't completely close the seal. You can just barely see kind of like its eyes, right? Like hidden between the seal that, and you can't Bones, even you, right? Like even seeing this creature's face peel down from the ceiling, you can't distinguish where its body is attached to the ceiling. It's indistinguishable. You cannot tell.
Damn.
It looks
That's
like it is
cool.
just rock attached to this ceiling.
All right, so I guess my question is, how are you a talking cloaker? How'd you get smart enough to talk?
Cloaker just is. Wake up like this.
Were you
Like-
always
like,
like this?
Were you once like a creature and you got cursed by somebody, and that's like somebody we can go find to help lift your curse? And you know, like, look, adventurer mind right here. Like,
No
Give me a
curse.
Give me the quest.
Just Cloaker. Cloaker.
Alright.
Happy being Cloaker.
Mm.
I
That's
mean,
fair.
that's-
I feel that cloaker.
Fair enough.
all right, Cloaker. I think we're now we'll all die for Cloaker.
Yeah,
will now all die for Cloaker.
We die
Dear
for Cloaker.
Lord.
Yeah.
Death for Cloaker.
Holy crap.
All right. Well, that's cool. Hey, what's down here, Cloaker?
Cloaker's home. It closed up not long ago. Cloaker can't roam anymore.
What do you mean closed up? Closed up from where?
You see a little bit more of the Cloaker's body kind of like peel away from the ceiling, and you see it's a wing that has like this little talon claw at the end of it, and it kind of turns and it points back to the wall behind it.
So, like, over here?
Yeah.
All right, well, let me see if we can do something about this. Me and Mossy go over here.
As soon as you kind of like approach, Cloaker kind of like reseals back up, like almost kind of like it's instinctive. It's concerned. It's afraid. It was hiding itself from the multitude of individuals invading its home, right? So it's still a little on edge in its reactions to you. But it doesn't flee, it doesn't attack or anything like that, right? And as you kind of like move forward, two things. The first one, Bones, is due to your freakishly high passive perception.
What do you do?
You are able to see as Cloaker, because again, right, it's like this much. You can barely see it while it's kind of like just barely peeled its face down. As it moves its wing and it kind of points, it offers you just a little bit more time to see a bit more of what's going on. And it looks, actually, yeah, the back portion of its head is missing.
Weird.
And there appears to be open brain matter there.
Damn, open brain?
Roll me a
Weird.
medicine check.
Alright. I'm pretty good at them.
Yeah, you've seen enough of these. It's that's humanoid brain.
Weird. You got a human brain in him. Weird.
That being said, as you step forward, right, like you kind of take that in, you step forward to this kind of like back wall, and Mossy just puts a claw up to it and goes tink 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 tink, and Mossy then looks at you, and you both kind of like take this in at the same time, right? Because you both hear this kind of like hollow sound. There's tunnel on the other side of this wall. It's just kind of like collapsed and caved in on itself. And you can actually see where it looks like maybe some of the pickaxes were used to kind of try to break through this portion, or clean out this portion or something like that. But whatever was being done here is no longer being.
I see. Alright, well, do you want it reopened, Cloaker?
That would be nice. Cloaker could go hunt. Just travel. Spread my wings again.
Alright, Mossy, do you think we could open this up? I'm gonna
Oh,
take
yeah.
a look at it. I'm gonna look at it with my dwarven eyes. Do we think we can open this up without collapsing the whole wall?
Owns it with his dwarf eyes.
Roll me. What's our dwarven?
Wait, do you have stone
structural-
cunning?
Yeah, he
Yeah,
has
dwarf,
dwarven
bro.
stone cunning. Yeah, because of the heart of the mountain.
Oh, right.
So
Because I'm a dwarf.
because you're a dwarf, right? Stone cunning. What does that
I
get
think
you?
stone cutting is only for like work stuff, but whatever.
Yata! Yeah, that is technically only for stonework. I will say you can roll me a intelligence, a history check, is what it's based off of, and you can roll it at advantage. Are you proficient in history?
I am.
Yeah, just roll it at advantage then.
I'm a dwarf.
20. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's always a small chance that collapses can lead to further collapses, especially if they're done poorly. But it looks like there's already been some bracing work done here, and it looks like this tunnel already led into more tunnel. So most likely, yes, you can open this up without it collapsing everything else.
Hey, real quick before I do this, how the tunnel collapse and when, and who did it?
You asking Cloaker?
I'm asking Cloaker. Yeah.
The tunnel has been collapsing. This time was just Cloaker's concept of time isn't great.
When doesn't matter so much to me. Just like the who. And...
a couple of hungries ago, basically.
A
And
couple of hungries ago.
the who, Cloaker will say, I don't know. The whole ground shook, and then everything fell.
Yeah, neat. Okay, well, Mossy, let's try and open it up, if you don't mind.
Mossy looks at you and is just kind of shrugs. And Mossy does this weird thing where he kind of walks forward up to the wall, reaches up, slams a claw into the wall, and you see Mossy kind of pull himself up horizontal, and then goosh, slam another claw in, goosh, slam another claw in, and now he's completely
Initiates drill mode.
and he just goes, you see his mouth, or you hear his mouth start to grind, and he just puts his mouth into the wall and starts to bore through the rock.
Okay.
And
It's like wanting him to Tasmanian devil.
And I mean, it does not take Mossy an especially long time. Probably 15 or 20 minutes of cautious digging, right? To basically obliterate the debris of this tunnel. And Mossy is capable of doing such stonework like this in such a way that not only is it going to be safe, but he actually is reinforcing and supporting the structure of the tunnel as he goes.
He knows how arches work. He knows the power of triangles.
He's basically like a mini Earth Elemental, honestly. So yeah,
Triangles are strong.
he is a triangle. Triangles are strong.
Yeah.
You say he is a triangle?
He is a
I
triangle.
mean, he's got 3 arms.
He's got threes. He's all the threes. He's 3-3-3 over here. Okay. You pull away the tunnel, revealing, or you pull away the wall to the tunnel, revealing more tunnel.
Neat.
Let's see.
And as soon as you do, Cloaker's kind of head comes down a little bit more. And it's at this point, right, like, you can see there's kind of like this excitement and interest with Cloaker. And he kind of, you hear this chortling, maybe is a good word to describe it. Cloaker seems happy. And is making this weird kind of like gurgling, snickering sound with its throat. And it's at this point, right, like that it's kind of starting to drop its guard a little bit, and all of you can kind of see this back half of the head portion removed, and what looks to be like a humanoid brain on the back half of its head.
Oh. Somebody was doing some experiments.
Yeah, somebody did some experiments, but Cloaker doesn't even know
God. Eduardo.
Eduardo.
Oh no.
Eduardo.
Okay.
Where's your daughter, Tucker?
Oh,
So-
well, hey, where's this go, by the way? When you go and fly, what's down there?
Cloaker will regale you. Cloaker tells you
Regales you.
it goes to the caverns, and the caverns go to the tunnels, and they go to more caverns and more tunnels. This is an exit from Undermountain into the Underdark.
No.
Oh, the Underdark.
This technically, you guys have seen some of these
Oh, that's why he
before
was
in your
out of the
previous.
abyss.
Yeah.
Oh shit! This is how Out of the Abyss starts for this party.
You guys have seen some of these on your previous journeys where there's just like these places that go off, and the way that they're designed in the module is in theory you could like build adventures off down this tunnel, right? But the backdrop of if you don't do anything with the tunnel is that it just goes off into Undermountain and eventually out of Undermountain and into the Underdark, right? Because you guys are far enough down.
Drow priestess take our shit this time. Let's go to Out of the Abyss now.
What if the time lined up to where both were happening at the same time?
It was really easy with level 1s. Let's do it with 13.
You guys you already know you're in the aftermath after the Rage of Demons. Because in point of fact, like you guys have received information on House Freth, for example, is here because of what happened in Minzobaranzan.
Oh.
No, because of us.
Favorite
Damn.
place.
Yeah. Because of the destruction
Which time? Which
Yeah,
time?
the second time. Y'all's time. That time. They're here because of all the destruction and chaos caused. Many drow houses fled Minzobaranzan in the aftermath of the second Rage of Demons.
Wasn't that like our 5th time in Menzo, though?
Well, you know. Look.
There's
We just
about.
kept finding our way
Okay.
back there.
Sometimes it do be that way.
All right, well, enjoy, I guess.
Yeah.
Cloaker kind of looks down at all of you and just says, "Thank you."
Yeah, it's
Cloaker
it's what adventurers do. We help people.
Please.
Good.
Kind of like peels
makes me happy to
itself
hear.
off of the ceiling, and you see
All right, now I attack. No, I'm joking.
you see it begin to kind of like float. It's hovering kind of like upside down, and you see it almost kind of like manta rays across the ceiling, right? Like a manta ray would across the surface of the ocean floor, right? It kind of like
Man,
manta rays across the ceiling, and you can't tell if it's like flying or hovering, or if it's like walking across the ceiling on its like belly talons or something like that. Like you just don't know. So
Neat.
and it leaves like it
Gyrates across the ceiling.
It gyrates across.
All right, well, see you later, brain boy.
it takes its leave of you, and thanks you for your assistance.
And now we head into the Underdark.
Yeah, well.
Let's
It
go.
is what
Let's
it is.
go to Minzobaranzan just to raise it to the ground.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck this campaign. We want to go to
Make sure they stay
Menzobaranzan.
down.
Wow, that's a little fucked up.
don't care about it dropping everything we're doing. Characters just have this uncontrollable urge to go to Menzo Baranzan.
Yeah, Marta had the blood curse. We got the blood curse too.
Everyone gains
Kill
250
Menzo
experience
Baranzan.
for freeing Cloaker.
Yay!
250.
Just a little,
250.
just a little 250 for being nice and freeing Cloaker.
Oh, that's
Alright.
nice. I like it. All right. Well, while we're here, I guess we might as well, for ghost completion's sake, check out what's in the rest of these caverns. Oh, it's a circle. Oh, I'm out. Okay.
Yeah, it just circles back around. It takes you all like less than a minute to explore the remaining section here, and head back out into the hallway.
All right. Neat. Well, that was a fun little interaction, everybody. I enjoyed that.
Interesting. Yeah. I wonder how long Cloaker was just like chilling there to never get like discovered by anybody.
He said he was there a couple of hungers. I don't know what that translates into a Cloaker time.
I know.
Yeah, who knows how long does it take a Cloaker to get hunger?
I
I
sure don't know.
assume. I'm not. In fact, I'm not going to assume.
You're not gonna
All right,
assume?
well-
7.
You guys want to head off to our next, random destination?
Yeah, sure.
What's the
All right,
next
I'd
random
like to go-
destination?
I want to go to the canteen next to Dorm Essentia.
Everyone cool with canteen next to Dorm Essentia?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you
For
for
me.
saying the right name.
I said Essentia. What do you mean? What I normally
Essentia.
saying? Essentia.
Close enough for
And-
government
and-
work.
And Decentia.
No, I say that one's Descentia.
Yeah, so you say that one
Okay,
right, but
yeah,
the other one
okay.
wrong.
Well, okay,
That's
and I'll tell you why.
nice.
It's because that one's closer to Decidia. So
Ah.
that's how I associated in my brain place.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
In
Okay,
his brain
cool.
place.
The party begins to move back through the halls of Dwemercor with the intent on heading towards the cantina, and exploring a little bit more of this magic academy. We will see what happens when we come back from break for more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. See y'all in just a few.
Damage.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.